Madam President, I come to the floor today like I do week after week as a physician who's practiced medicine in Casper, Wyoming, taking care of families in the community and across the state for about a quarter of a century. And I come as a doctor providing a second opinion about the health care law. And since this health care law was signed by the President almost 2 years ago, the public has been overwhelmingly opposed to it. When the Democrats in Congress drafted this health care law, they did so quickly and behind closed doors. In spite of the President's promise that discussions would be held on C-SPAN, no one saw what was happening. Well, now the bill is law, and as Nancy Pelosi said, first you have to pass it before you get to find out what's in it. We have, as Americans, witnessed week after week the unintended consequences of the rush of the Democrats to score what they thought would be a political victory. So I continue to come to the floor with a second opinion because week after week there is another new finding of this monstrous law, and it's why week after week this health care law remains incredibly unpopular. The list of victims of this law continues to grow longer each week. And small business owners, we have families, people who get their coverage through their employers, and patients all across the country have already been impacted by this health care law. But on January 20th, the third anniversary of the President's inauguration, the President's health care law found a very new target. And that target, amazingly, is religious liberty. Now this administration is mandating that religious institutions provide services that undermine the beliefs of religious institutions across the country. This ruling, in my opinion, in the opinion of many across this nation, this ruling tramples over one of the amendments of the Constitution. And, Madam President, I would say it's an easy amendment to find since it is the first one. It's the one that protects the rights to freedom of religion and freedom of expression. And just reading from the Constitution, Amendment number 1, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. If you take a look back at our nation's history, the right to freedom of religion is one of the main reasons that many people came to America in the first place. And it's one of the reasons that people have fought and have died for our nation. So what's someone to do? Well, Washington Archbishop Donald Wuerl has expressed the dilemma that many institutions face, and he did it in a letter last week. And what he said was that the mandate will allow a Catholic school just one of three options. This is the Archbishop here in Washington. The mandate will allow a Catholic school only one of three options. Violate its beliefs by providing coverage for medications and procedures that Catholics believe are immoral. Number two, another option, cease providing insurance coverage for all of its employees and then face ongoing and ultimately ruinous fines. Or three, attempt to qualify for the exemptions by hiring and serving only Catholics. Exclude everyone else. Well, many Americans understand that all three of those options are indefensible. Americans from across the political spectrum are speaking out against President Obama's big government power grab. One of my colleagues, Democrat Senator Joe Manchin, called this mandate un-American. Another, Senator Bob Casey, Democrat from Pennsylvania, objected to forcing Catholic institutions to violate their religious beliefs. And then we have former Representative Kathy Dahlkemper, Democrat from Pennsylvania, who voted for the health care law in the House of Representatives, said that she would never have voted for the final version of the health care law. She said, if I expected the Obama administration to force Catholic hospitals and Catholic colleges and universities to pay for contraception. Even liberal commentators like E.J. Dionne and Mark Shields have likewise criticized the administration for being unwilling to offer a broader conscience exemption to religious-affiliated institutions. Now that the president's liberal allies are even opposed to this unprecedented power grab, the White House is trying to clean up the mess. It has signaled that it is willing to compromise on its decision. Instead of a mild compromise, the regulation in the entire health care law needs to be fully repealed. As the Wall Street Journal editorial board puts it, in any case, HHS would revive this coercion whenever it is politically convenient, sometime in Mr. Obama's second term. They go on to say, religious liberty won't be protected from the entitlement state until Obamacare is repealed. I think all Americans should be afraid of the course that this White House is on with this regulation. This debate isn't about women's health, it's about power. Washington should not have the power to force religious people and religious institutions to take actions that contradict their beliefs. What we're going to continue to see as the health care law and the mandates and the regulations continue to come out, what we will see is a government and an administration that continues to expand the government reach in terms of its size, in terms of its scope, and in terms of its grab for power. The health care law was supposed to be about people and health care, the care they need from the doctor that they want at a cost they can afford. Instead, got a lot of IRS agents, no new doctors and nurses, and when I go to town hall meetings and ask all of the people in attendance, I said, how many of you under this health care law who are hoping to get care you need, the doctor that you want at a price you can afford, how many of you believe that the cost of your health care because of this health care law will increase? The cost to you will go up, and all the hands go up. That's what the people believe when they hear more and more about this health care law. And then you say, how many of you believe that the quality and availability of your care will go down? And again, the hands go up. These are the American people knowing everything they do about a health care law, which is very complicated and has not given them what they asked for. Care they need, doctor that they want at a cost they can afford. And what they find out is that they're going to, and believe that they're going to be actually paying more and getting less. And that's not what the American people have been promised. It's not what they want. It's not what they expected, but it is what they are finding out that they have received now that the law has passed. So, Madam President, this clearly explains why Republicans in the Senate and the House continue to be committed to repealing the President's health care law. Thank you, Madam President. I yield the floor.